You may not have seen during the exchanges in Prime Minister's questions that when the Leader of the Opposition sat down, he muttered words which were quite clearly visible, accusing the Prime Minister of being a stupid woman. Bearing in mind, Mr. Speaker, the booklet that you issued this week, the words that the Leader of the Opposition said last September, would it not be appropriate for him to come back in the chamber and apologise?
One of the more interesting things to observe is something called the House of Commons. There's quick wit, verbal banter, and the occasional metaphorical smackdown. Let's talk about it. Yo, what's up? I'm Jaded Nerd, and I wanted to take the time to talk to y'all about something that I thoroughly enjoy, and that's watching the House of Commons. The House of Commons is the lower house of the Parliament of the United Kingdom. The Commons is an elected body consisting of 650 members, known as MP or Members of Parliament. They represent the people, and the people elect them, they choose them, and then they go to this chamber and they debate things and discuss things for topics and policies and things that affect the people there. What I love about it is it looks like this gigantic room full of people. And it's just everybody's around. And there are different sessions that they hold. And one of my favorite sessions is something called Prime Minister's Questions. Depending on what the topic or debate that they're having, the MP or the members of Parliament get to ask the Prime Minister questions, and the Prime Minister has to answer these questions. It's so dope because in real time, you get to see how they handle pressure and stress, how quick can they think on their feet, all of these things. And then you get to kind of see their intellect, their ability to be witty, all of that. But what really makes this interesting to me is the way that the speaker is able to kind of chair the debate.
I'm pleased to respond to the Right Honourable Gentleman's point of order. As he rightly surmised at the start of it, I saw no such thing. I am not making an allegation, and I am not denying or seeking to refute that of the Right Honourable Gentleman. I cannot be expected to pronounce upon that which I did not see and which was not witnessed by my advisers and which I did not hear and which was not witnessed by my advisers. What order? I don't need any advice in how to respond to a point of order from the Right Honourable Gentleman, which is what I'm doing. What I say in response, with all courtesy to the Right Honourable Gentleman, who's perfectly entitled to have raised that point of order, is that it is incumbent upon all members of this House to operate in accordance with its best conventions and to follow the conventions and courtesies. If a member has failed to do so, that member has a responsibility to apologize.
Basically, he's guiding the conversation. He's letting the opposition and the governing party get their points out. And he's there to make sure that it doesn't get out of hand, that the argument is still the argument. The debate is what they're talking about. And it's just one of those cool things. Jeremy Corbyn and Theresa May are going back and forth. And the coolest thing about this is that it's like this smackdown that he's saying what he has to say. She's saying what she has to say. But I want y'all to check out this clip. And I want y'all to see how, they could present the argument. And then it's so funny how the opposition, the supporting members of the opposition, if they don't like it, they kind of make this noise. They start shouting and making all this noise to kind of like drown it out. But check the clip out, and then I'll come back with the rest of my commentary.
I say to the Right Honourable Gentleman, we have been very clear about the process that we are going through, and we have been very clear about when the vote will be brought back to this House. Now, of course, the details of that debate have to be discussed in the usual channels in the usual way. But the Right Honourable Gentleman made a response when I said he had a responsibility on delivering Brexit. Every member of this House has a responsibility to deliver on Brexit. This is because, And 80% of the votes cast for members of this House were for members of this House who stood on a manifesto commitment to honour the referendum and deliver on Brexit. And what people will say to the right honourable gentleman, if he fails to recognise that he has a duty, as has everybody in this House, to deliver on Brexit, that once again he's just bottled it.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister didn't answer my question about a cast iron guarantee. She is the one that has denied Parliament the right to vote on this subject. So please, no lectures to Parliament when it's the Prime Minister that's denying MPs the possibility of a vote on this. We should have had a vote a week ago. We should now be debating practical alternatives. She is behaving in a disgraceful way that is frankly an outrage.
Order in this House of Commons, where we're supposed to try to treat each other with respect, no one under any circumstances is going to be shouted down. So stop the attempted shouting down on both sides, abandon the juvenile finger wagging which achieves precisely nothing, and let each other be heard. It's called the assertion of democratic principle.
He doesn't have to literally throw anything. He doesn't have to get into any fisticuffs, or he doesn't have to do anything where there's throwing water and drinks or anything. It's verbal acknowledgement, and then it could be a tone, it could be inflection, or it could be a very, very lightly thrown, fierce read. And y'all know how I love a good read.
Members must not shout at the Prime Minister. Order, calm yourselves. Try to get into the Christmas spirit. Or if you can't do that, at least listen to the Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. They said they'd put down a vote of no confidence, then they said they wouldn't, then they said they would, then they did it but it wasn't effective. I know it's the Christmas season and the pantomime season, but what do we see from the Labour front bench and the right honourable gentleman? He's going to put a confidence vote. Oh yes he is. Oh no he isn't. I've got some news for him. I've got some advice for the right honourable gentleman. Look behind you. They're not impressed, and neither is the country.
I like how they get to call them out. I like how the MP get to directly question the Prime Minister. They get to directly question a policy. They get to directly question a decision. And it's right there. Right there in real time. There isn't any pretense. We don't have to go through the word of a reporter or a news outlet or some type of other bias. You're observing it. You're observing their reaction. You hear their words. You see their body language. It's one of the best things. If you haven't watched the House of Commons or just a session of the House of Commons, I highly recommend you do so. You're going to be entertained, and you'll get to see a different way or a different process of how government works and how people arrive at a decision and what the judicial process can look like, aside from what we see over here in the States. But I want to know what y'all thought about the clips and what you think about the House of Commons in general. What do you think about how they argue and debate a topic and how spirited it gets? And what do you think of the Speaker? How do you think the Speaker of the House of Commons differs to the Speaker of the House over here in America? Put everything in the comments section below. I want to know what y'all think about this. I really appreciate y'all taking time to let me talk to y'all and get this off my chest. But if you can, please throw a like on the video, subscribe and share. It's greatly appreciated. I'm Jaded Nerd. I'll talk to y'all next time.